Welcome to week 6 in parametric modeling, and in today's lesson we're going to work with the parent-child relationship and Born technique, and it's not really difficult. A lot of stuff you've already done in the past couple classes. What I want to do is I want to start out in your tutorial. I want to draw this this part up, and first thing I want to do is, you see in your model over here I've got the origin. Collapse that or open that up, and what I want to do is I want to make these work planes visible, and I want to turn this just a little bit so you can see those. See that right there is my YZ, XZ, and XY plane. Right click on those and just turn on your visibility. You see how it turns it on full time for you? We got all three of those opened up there. Now we're going to start and we're going to draw this thing in, this this part, and I want to start out with it. If I'm going to use these planes, I want to put a work point in it just so that I'll know exactly where I need to locate some things. I click on this plane, and this plane, and see how it puts me a point right in the middle of where it's located. Can't really see it there, but it's in there. Right there it is. And what I want to do is click on this plane, hit New Sketch, and I want to start drawing. Now this point right there is right in the middle of all three. This intersects. It's right we're at the intersection of all of the planes, and I want to go ahead and put this rectangle in. And I will use that work plane to help me to get it set up. So it looks like this rectangle is this point to this point should be 1, and from this point to this point sorry. What we'll have to do is we'll have to pull this one down because I didn't really draw it long enough. And I go off this work point to this, and that's also 1. Now the length of this thing is it's 5 inches from center of the hole to center of the hole, so I'm going to go ahead and put that in there. So it'll be half, and you can do this. You can take 5, divide it by 2. Now, we could figure out 2.5 was that, but that just shows you the capabilities of this software. It's really nice. So we got all that taken care of. Now let's put our holes in. Circle, or put the radius on it. I'll bring it up here, touch that point. Catch the center of that, bring it up at this point. I'll trim out some of this mess in my modify. It's a lot faster and easier than what AutoCAD has. Just finish it, and then I want to go to extrude. Now sometimes with all this stuff up, it's kind of all these work planes visible. It makes it kind of hard to work in it. Sometimes you can turn them off. It might help you a little bit. I want to hit extrude, hit this, and I want to flip it and put it on the bottom side, just like that. Hit OK on that. Now, while I'm in feature mode, I'm also going to put my holes in. And I'm going to have to go and do another sketch to do that. Go back on the top of that plane right there and just do a new sketch. And point, just like we did just a minute ago. We'll put those back in. Finish the sketch, and we'll put those holes in real quick. And the hole size is 0.225 is the diameter, so 0.225. Okay. And that doesn't look right. So what do we do if we need to take and edit something? what we have to do, these are a 1/2 inch. So go back to hole, and you don't need to edit the sketch. We don't need to move that in 2D, the location, but I do need to go to feature, double click it, and that will be a 1/2 inch diameter. Now that looks a lot better. Okay? Now at this point we are getting ready to put another aspect onto this, and it's like a 1/2 of a circle, a radius arc up here. And what you do is come over here, click on this plane because it's right in the center. Remember we put that work point, it's where we hinged all this drawing off of. I want to click on this, new sketch, right click and new sketch, and you can see we're sketching in the center of this. Now if you want to cut this part of it out so you can see what the complete work plane, right click and come up here to slice graphics, and it'll cut through that 3D part so that you can actually see the complete work plane. So now I want to turn this thing around and start sketching. I'm just going to use a circle. I'll start, and first, before we do anything, we need to project geometry like we did last week. Project geometry, we want to bring this part into play. You see how it brings those parts up, those lines. All thing I need is really this part right here, and I can go into circle and it'll start right there and bring this one up. This arc is at a radius of 1.75, so if you know the radius and you need this is on diameter, we just times it by 2, and bam, there we are. Okay, so now we don't need all of this down here at the bottom, so I'm going to clean that off, just trim that up. I want to hit finish sketch and go ahead and extrude that part right there. Now looking at the top of it, I'm just going to turn it around so you can see. Remember, there's on one side, this takes it back the other way, this puts it in the center. We want to be on the center, and this is 2.5. Hit OK, and you can see now how that goes right in there. It joins right up. It's really neat. It's really awesome. Now we've pretty much got everything we need with these work planes. We've got the majority of it, so I'm just going to turn those off by coming over here and finding it in Origin and turning the visibilities off. Makes it a little easier to see what's going on. There's my part so far. So now this thing, it has 2 different types of holes going through this. Looks like a lemon or orange slice right here. One of them's going to be a square cut through, and one of them's just going to be a round cut through. And the reason that we're going to do this is just to show you, if you work for a company and you have to do a revision on something, you can have both of the different styles in here. It's all about just suppressing the feature, and I'll show you that. So what you want to do is turn this around, and right here on this face, I'm going to do new sketch, and put me a circle, another one in, and that inside circle is 1.25 radius. So I'll just click it right there. I'll hit my dimension and do 1.25 times 2. That provides me with a diameter. Alright, then I'll just take and trim out what I don't want. Finish the sketch up. I'm going to rotate it just a little bit, and we'll go ahead and extrude this hole. I want to use the cut command, distance all the way through. Okay, so right there is that part completely made. Oh, it's got on the main top of it, it's got a little tiny hole in it, and I'll show you how to do that here in just a moment as well. Well, we could do it several different ways, but we need to go ahead and put that in. you could basically just click on the bottom here, do a new sketch, turn it around here, and we've got a point already right there, but put you a point in, write that point, finish sketch, and you could do a whole command and distance through all, and that diameter on that one is 0.25 diameter, and you got your hole in there. Now there's another method to this. You see how we've got this part? Well, maybe there was a revision change and we need to put a rectangle in here instead of this round, or not a revision change, but maybe you got two identical parts and one of them needs to be round, the other needs to be square. Instead of drawing a new drawing, you can use the same drawing and just suppress a feature. Now to suppress a feature, we want to suppress this right here, this cutout. Come over here and find it. Right there it is. Right click and just do suppress. See how it just acts like it's not even there? And then over here it's got a line through it, suppressed, so it lets you know there is something there, and we can unsuppress it and you can see it, but for right now it's off. So all you have to do now is do a new sketch, and we'll put that square in there. I'm just going to use a rectangular command, and not for sure exactly what those dimensions are for the rectangular part of it. I'll look it up here. Don't see it offhand, so I'm just going to dimension this. I'll just put some dimensions on it. We'll make that 1.25 or something along that line, and then again the overall be 1. Times 2, and then we'll take in dimension from there to there. We'll say it's 1/2 of an inch or something along those lines. Again, finish that out. Extrude. Use your cut command. Distance I want to do through all. Come down here, make sure our profile is caught, and then hit OK. And see how you got that cut in there? And I think in your book it's a little bit larger cut than that. I didn't have the dimensions with me. But now, let's say for instance, you go in there and draw this one all up and have it all done. And you want to go back and use the original one. Let's suppress this one right here. Just take a right click, suppress. And go up here now and unsuppress that feature, and you got that one. So it's really handy little tool to use, and it's just something later on down the road it might help you to draw. Use it.